every creation story, we all know, every creation story, and every time we shift to a higher level in our personal consciousness and global consciousness, there is often what is described as devastation. Every creation story, for something new to evolve, something that has been falls away, dissolves. And I think we're in that time now. And so for me, I think it's both about honoring the suffering that is truly for us on a human personal level and on a global level, and remembering at the same time the larger story that's unfolding. And sometimes I remember, and sometimes I forget that. And I also think it's important to, as we're honoring the suffering, and I personally believe that just like in that Silent Unity Chapel, that is a place that can hold amazing suffering and transform it. It doesn't deny it, doesn't pretend it isn't there. It holds it in a way that transforms it. And I think that's what we're called to. And when we can hold suffering, deep, true suffering, then I think we can also hold deep, amazing joy and lightness. And that also is part of the energy of transformation. I think about the Dalai Lama, if you've ever heard him laugh, and that is a man who feels very much the suffering of his people. And when asked how he can be enlightened all the time, laughs this amazing, from the toes, melodic laughter. He is also a man who can feel great joy, who can be concerned about his individual people and the larger world. So I think, sometimes there's more questions than answers. How do we bring light? How do we connect our filament of light with somebody else's filament of light to create an opening or a window for the wisdom and the new possibilities to come through? That's a question I'm constantly asking myself. And while I have some answers, they change, and they're different. And that, I'm seeing more people now than ever before who are interested not only in dancing with, embracing, and transforming their own suffering, but also dancing with and embracing the universe's suffering and wanting to be an agent of transformation for both. More and more people have that understanding and come looking for a place to just process that. And I don't have their answers, but I can be with them in energy or in word or in silence and support their finding their way to be that filament of light. Kent Nurburn is a Minnesota poet and author, and I'd like to read something of his.
Sure.
Might I do that?
You bet.
It's called Make Me an Instrument. We are not saints, we are not heroes. Our lives are lived in the quiet corners of the ordinary. We build tiny hearth fires, sometimes barely strong enough to give off warmth. But to the person lost in the darkness, our tiny flame may be the road to safety, the path to salvation. It is not given us to know who is lost in darkness that surrounds us, or even if our light is seen. We can only know that against even the smallest of lights, darkness cannot stand. A sailor lost at sea can be guided home by a single candle. A person lost in a wood can be led to safety by a flickering flame. It is not an issue of quality or intensity or purity. It is simply an issue of the presence of light. We all have that. we can all support this transformation. Mark Nepo said something, author, poet, one of the persons who offers, for me, sacred texts, in addition to others, said something to the effect of, if you took like 1/4 of a cup of salt and poured it in a cup and then tried to drink that, you couldn't do it. It's not palatable. But if you took that same 1/4 cup of salt and poured it in a lake, you could drink that. Diluting the bitterness makes it more palatable. So let's, bring our light. Let's be willing to make connection. Let's support each other in honoring the suffering and holding it in a way that we can transform it and support this evolution that is here inside of us and all around us. Let's bring a sense of buoyancy. Let's dilute the suffering so we can harvest the gifts we can harvest from that suffering, so that we can move through it as fast as we can, so that we can transform it, so that we can learn from it what there is to be learned and share that with others, from the deepest heart and from the highest possible mind. We are all capable of that. It's not a matter of intensity or purity or quality of our light. It's simply the presence of light.
Wow.
Thank you.